Hi, I'm Votan and I'm back. I was gone for a little bit because I was working. I worked 11.5 hour days actually, and I just didn't really have time for anything else. So I'm out of a job now. It was a very short contract, and I knew that it was going to be for a short period of time, but it ended up being much shorter than expected. The original 2.5 weeks was sort of cut down to like just over a week. And that was just because they had done so much testing and so much pre-planning, and they were so well prepared that they ended up not needing us. So I got some money coming to me, but not quite as much as I wanted. So I'll be looking for work a little bit sooner than expected next month. But yeah, I don't think I'll be calling my mom, because I know she'll say, well, when are you going to get another job? Or, or my uncle. He's like, well, I'll hook you up again. So I'll probably just relax a little bit first before I sort of get forced to go get another job, because I'm not quite out of money yet. I'm getting quite close, but I can still survive for a couple more weeks. So I noticed that when I was working, the pattern of my thoughts changed, obviously, because I'm dealing with other people constantly throughout the day. It's interacting with other people, helping people on the phones and in person. And I found myself thinking, this isn't too bad, I can do this, and everyone seemed so well adjusted, and they were happy and talking well with each other. Of course, most people are good at the social thing. I'm not so good at it. And I noticed almost everyone had wedding rings, so most people were married, and it just seemed like it was kind of a fun place to work. And I was thinking, yeah, I kind of want to work in a place like that, in that kind of atmosphere. But, I know that it really doesn't fit me, because I don't really fit in, because I'm not social, for a variety of reasons. I like people and I like talking with people, but just the constant interaction, or the constant trying to present yourself, sort of hard to describe. Just sort of the constant necessity of presence, and having to think of others, I find very draining in a way. But I definitely need practice at it, and I would benefit from being able to do it well, at least in small amounts, medium-sized amounts. All day, I'm not sure if I could do that, but in this short period of time, I enjoyed what I did, and I wished it was a little bit longer. But it's over, and I sort of feel like I've adjusted my thinking about how I'm going about what I'm doing a little bit, pretty much the same, but I feel like that I can do more. I want to make sure that I'm well-rounded and not focusing too heavily on what I'm doing, like right brain stuff or visualization. I'm still going to be doing that, but I want to make sure that the other aspects of my life are taken care of as well. I don't want to squander my time. I mean, I'm not really using any of my time for entertainment, hardly any of it. Pretty much no movies, no video games, no TV. Books that I read are only for edification, my self-growth, something that it can teach me. So either non-fiction books or a fiction book that has a good message or imparts something that is worthwhile. Of course, a lot of the entertainment things that I mentioned I haven't done in a long time, but it's just sort of an indication of the way I'm sort of heading. Even time with my friends I've curtailed. Like one of my friends emailed me last week or earlier this week and asked me if I wanted to go to a concert, kind of an opera, like a heavy metal opera, kind of an interesting combination, tomorrow. I didn't really give him an answer if I would go or not, because I guess I could go, but that's $30. So that's money, and it's taking me away from what I'm doing. Of course, tomorrow night I am going to a party, but I go every year, and it's a white elephant gift exchange party. So it's all right. This I will allow myself to do. It's free, and I meet good people, and it's casual socializing, and it won't be for very long. And it's sort of a tradition, a different friend's tradition. So yeah, I've curtailed a lot of that stuff. So, but I want to make sure that I'm covering all my bases. So I started to go through, okay, so what are the main elements of what makes a good person? And I was thinking, okay, emotional. So I need my emotions in check. I need to be able to express my emotions and try to eliminate any repressions that I have, childhood traumas. And going through the Course in Miracles is quite helpful to me, because even though I don't know if it's intent, but I can feel that it sort of teaches you how to let go of things. And as I was going through running some errands around town today in my car, I was sort of going through today's lesson, and I found that it was directly applicable to some of my own things and problems, emotions that I hold on to. I can use the same technique to let go of it. And I also got another book called Embracing Ourselves. Let me show you. And this was a book that was recommended by Shakti Gawain, and I read her book Developing Intuition, which was a pretty good book, unexpectedly so. And in there she mentioned this book as really helping her release a lot of old emotional baggage. And it looks like these authors really aren't writing anymore, and they don't really have a lot of books. And the book was written in the 90s, and it really hasn't been updated. But if it's as good as Shakti says, then I think I'll be able to derive some benefit from it. It's sort of about, as you notice, the title is Embracing Ourselves, plural. And the selves, I guess that I haven't read it yet, I just got it in the mail today. But the general premise is we have all sorts of, we're not just one personality, we're sort of made up by various personalities or various aspects of ourselves. And of course you've heard of the multiple personality disorder or schizophrenia, where that's sort of an extreme case where the personalities actually are very prominent, and they switch from one to the other, and it causes a lot of problems for the host, for the person. But generally, I believe the idea is that we all have sort of splinters within us, selves that we've disowned and selves that we've increased in prominence, and so we have sort of an imbalance going on. And by embracing a lot of the problem areas, or the selves that we've sort of marked as negative or undesirable, by bringing that up and letting them have a voice, we, I guess, are able to reclaim a lot of our emotional power. Our emotions can then manifest themselves as they want to be manifesting, as they want to show us, because a lot of things that happen are there to indicate something to us, or to show us something. So by doing this, we become fuller, wholer, and probably less constrained by our past, childhood traumas, or whatever things that we've been holding on to throughout our lives. So I haven't really done a lot of emotional work. I really haven't really known how. I've never wanted to speak with a counselor or a therapist or a psychiatrist, so I've never done that. But I've been, since the New Year's, since the beginning of the year, I've been journaling my thoughts, I've been creating these videos, and I've been trying to be more introspective and bringing Vipassana, which is my meditation style, into this everyday world. In that I'm trying to be more cognizant of my reactions and my feelings and what I'm doing, how it affects other people, and trying to be more sensitive, especially to myself, and trying to be more observant, trying to be more walking sort of the middle line without getting way too ecstatic or way too depressed, sort of kind of the equanimous middle path in a way of, in a manner of speaking. So I think that with this addition, I believe my emotional self, as they call it, they're different selves. My emotional body, my emotional self will be strengthened and will start improving. I think I have a lot of repressed emotions and probably memories and all sorts of things that will be difficult to be looked at, but for my growth, I think it's really necessary. And one of the things that Shakti Gawain said in her book, Developing Intuition, is in order to really be in touch with our intuition, we have to be in touch with our emotions. And I believe I'm not very in touch with my emotions, and I want to be in touch with my intuition. And I want to become a better person and all that stuff. So this is part and parcel. And I think there's a lot of stuff holding me back. And I'm here to work through that and try to resolve that stuff. The other issue, of course, is my spiritual self. And I want to improve spiritually. I feel like I'm on the spiritual path, and I keep asking myself, or I sort of once in a while ask myself, am I on the spiritual path just because I feel like there's problems in my life and I just want to fix the problems, and as soon as I'm good enough, I'm just going to forget the spirituality and just act like everyone else? That's sort of a fear that I have, in a way, that I just care about spirituality and God and the cosmos and things beyond the ordinary human world, because I feel like I'm not good enough, or I don't fit in, or anything like that. but I try to imagine myself, okay, if I was, let's say, I did have a house and a nice car and a wife and a family, you know, and money, and I had friends, and I was good at socializing, and I had a good communicator, and pretty much I was just the typical, you know, suburban person or whatever, or cityite. Would I be satisfied? And whenever I imagine myself in this situation, I always say no, even though I am well adjusted, and even though I am successful, you know, financially, and in relationships, and other, you know, in other ways, I still think something would be missing. I still feel that life would be ultimately unsatisfying. And this sort of indicates to me that I am serious about my spirituality, the spiritual path, and I want to progress spiritually for real, not just to try to heal myself, or not just try to fix whatever I think is broken within me. So I am practicing Vipassana regularly, 2 hours a day, which is a lot, but when I was working it was challenging. Now that I'm not working again, it's I mean, it's still big time commitment, because I want to do what I want to do, but to progress I need to meditate every day. So I've been doing that. I've been going to retreats. I went to retreats last year, and so that's part of my spiritual development. I've also read spiritual books. I'm continuing to read spiritual books when I can. Probably the biggest thing that I took on this year was A Course in Miracles. It's definitely from my dad's influence. He really spoke highly of it, and when I got into it, I started actually listening to the audio of the text, and after the first few chapters, I was just blown away. I was like, wow, this is brilliant, and it really blew me away. And the workbook, which I've started on the first and I've been doing every day, has every day it's like it gets better and better, and it's just amazing what I'm getting out of it. It's so well thought out. It's planned really well. I mean, there's one lesson for every day of the year, I believe. I'm very ecstatic, very happy to continue this on this path, this workbook, and do all the lessons to see where I try not to look ahead, and I just take it lesson by lesson just to see where it will go. And I think they say it's a shortcut. Actually, I believe it was in the text. I was listening to it, maybe chapter, I don't know, 16, 17, 18, something like that. They actually said, you can get to the same place that you can you can get to the same place that the Course in Miracles will take you by meditating or deep contemplation, but that meditation would require devoting your whole life to severely austere practices and shunning the world, pretty much. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was pretty much like, well, meditation will get you there too, but that is a much more arduous and difficult path. So, well, I'm not going to give up meditation. I think it's definitely very beneficial, and I'm going to continue to meditate. But that sort of indicates that it's a shortcut to whatever the final goal, whatever the the end result is of all this work. Because I guess it deconstructs the ego, and the ego is what holds us back, is what is the very strong barrier between us and God, or us and the ultimate truth, or whatever. And so the Course in Miracles deconstructs, just systematically deconstructs the thought system of the ego. At least that's what it seems like of what I know so far. So I'm very excited about that, and I think I could probably get into other forms of spiritual practices, but the Course in Miracles and my Vipassana meditation, I think, are pretty adequate right now for what I'm doing. Other books that I may read, like I read the Babaji book, or some of these other books that I'll talk about later, are kind of good, maybe supplements, maybe motivators that keep me going, but they're definitely not the meat of what I'm into. And then of course there's my mental development, and that's sort of been my primary focus, especially after reading the quantum speed reading. Quantum speed reading really sort of cemented the fact for me about what is possible through the right brain. We pretty much live in our left brain world, and we're taught that the average human can only do certain things. But according to what I've been learning about, not just this book, but on the internet, and I also have more books on the brain that I checked out, we are capable of so much more than we think we are. We are capable of recalling information, being intuitive, doing things that you wouldn't think regular people can do. Like, I saw videos of children blindfolded on YouTube being able to see what they're doing, add up math numbers that were written on pages and things like that. Some people may call it a hoax, but I think that sort of stuff is possible. And I may not get to that level because I'm training as an adult, and you really need to start young to really pick up momentum. But at least I can gain some of the fruits of developing my right brain. So I've been doing a lot of visualization. I've been going through the exercises in the quantum speed reading book. I've been doing eye movements and tricks and techniques with my eyes to be able to increase the speed of my eye movements, because the eyes are connected to the right brain. I've been looking at and viewing 3D stereogram magic eye pictures and images. I have a couple of books and I look at them every day, and that stimulates the right brain as well, and sort of the region between the brains. I also have, I'm doing other things. I'm doing the Vimla alphabet, and I'm working on that. And there are some other things that I could pick up maybe. I've always wanted to know how to play an instrument. I don't know how to play any musical instruments. The ones that I've always wanted to play were, maybe more solitary ones like bagpipes or the piano or the violin. Maybe I'll pick that up. I've heard that learning how to play a musical instrument stimulates the right brain quite a bit as well. So no plans for that, but I may add that, incorporate that if I feel that I need an extra boost. But I think for right now, my right brain is getting the message. the pattern of my dreams have been changing. They have become more informative and more exciting, and they have more elements to them, and they're much less mundane. I'm remembering them more. When I'm very relaxed, I'm starting to see images come through, kind of like image streaming. But they're fleeting and they're not always conscious. Oftentimes they'll be there, but I'm not aware of it until near the end, and then it's fading. So yeah, my right brain is definitely being stimulated, and I think for right now I've got that down adequately. However, I also want to stimulate my left brain, because my left brain also isn't the strongest. I find thinking difficult. It may sound weird or whatever, but most of my life I've I don't know why thinking is difficult, but I always have to force myself to think about something. Usually I think I have a really wild, untamed mind, and it's really hard to hold it down. Like today when I was doing my quantum speed reading right brain training, I noticed that my concentration took a big hit from when I was doing it seriously before I started work. Now, I don't know if that was because of my job and because of working on the computer for 11 and a half hours a day, or because I hadn't really focused and concentrated in like a week. I had done a little bit here and there, every day a little bit, but it wasn't really focused. And so yeah, my concentration took a hit, so I need to do this every day. So but my thinking needs to be improved through my left brain, and so I think I need like word puzzles maybe. My youngest sister is really good at those word scrambles, or letter scrambles. You have words, and the letters in the words are all scrambled up, and you have to figure out what the word says. And I can never do that. And she was always great. She looked at it she can look at it for a few seconds and tell right away what it says, what the word is. Things like this, maybe Sudoku. I don't like Sudoku. It's too difficult. It requires too much thinking. Maybe that I should try. But so my left brain, I don't want to be, too lopsided. I don't want my right brain to be stronger than my left. I want to have a good balance. I need both. So I think I need to start incorporating more activities into my training regimen. So, but these are the three main areas that I'm sort of focusing on, and I'm adding things here and there as I see fit. I'm not really set. Having like a set schedule. Okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this is very left brain, and so I'm trying to be more fluid, trying to be more creative, going with the flow more, seeing what I feel like every day. No, but it can't be too unstructured, otherwise, I find myself being too lazy. So it's sort of a balance. And yeah, I think that's sort of the main things that I'm doing. And I use the time at work to reflect and try to think about more things that I could be doing, because I still have free cycles or spare time during the day that I use to read or use on my computer, or this and that. Maybe I spend too much time eating and I need to curtail that or whatever. So yeah, so those are the basic things. I'm going to continue my spiritual work, my mental work, and I'm going to increase the velocity on my emotional work as well, to try and get my mind in working order. It's spent too long at the bottom of a pit with in a cesspool of all sorts of untidy and disarray of cluttered things all around, and it's time to strengthen it and get it into tip-top shape. As far as physical work and exercise, yeah, I haven't been doing a lot of that. I spent so many years doing that, and I think I'm focused on my mind. I'm really not good at balance, so I need to probably focus more on that, but that's not really a priority right now. At some point it will be, but right now I'm happy with the way I'm handling my life, the way my life is going. It's moving in a direction I want to be moving in. One of the first times in my life, I think, and I don't want to be sidetracked with more work, like a job, because that will derail me. I'm easily derailed, so I really have to stay focused. Yeah, so I think there's promise and there's hope, and well, that's about all I have. So if you think of any questions or suggestions or anything else, let me know, and we'll talk to you later.